Welcome in, I'm Drew Martin. We are doing a Mayweather-McGregor fight update from a Vegas perspective and bringing in Matt Holt, Vice President at CG Technology. Matt, thanks for taking the time. I know it's a busy time for you guys. How you doing today?
Yeah, look, there is nothing that I can compare to in sports that compares to a big fight atmosphere in Las Vegas. I've lived here for a lot of years now, and these big events in Vegas, it's such an amazing atmosphere.
Absolutely. I mean, have the Irish already started getting into Las Vegas?
Yeah, I mean, the crowds are unbelievable. I mean, Tuesday they had crowds standing outside in 100-degree heat for hours and hours just at the mere possibility of catching a glimpse at Mayweather and McGregor at what they called the Grand Arrivals ceremony. So just an unbelievable atmosphere here this week. There's a whole media and radio row. So there's tons of media people in town. There's tons of celebrities in town. The hotels are all full. The bars are all full. The restaurants are all full. It's just a real energetic atmosphere going into this fight.
Yeah, absolutely. And if you're looking to get some of that atmosphere, see what it's like in Las Vegas, Matt is a great follow on Twitter. You can find him at Matthew Holt VP. But Matt, as far as the betting perspective of this fight, word on the street is you guys are upwards of 90% ticket count on McGregor. Is that true?
Yeah, last I checked a few minutes ago, we were 91% of the tickets written on Conor McGregor, but 80% of the money on Floyd Mayweather.
Okay, so the number of people betting are way more towards Conor McGregor, but the big money is on Floyd Mayweather. What exactly would you say is the average bet size for each fighter?
Sure. So again, last I checked a few minutes ago, and there's so many bets coming in that these numbers tend to fluctuate a little bit. But last I checked, our average bet size on Conor McGregor was like $191, and our average ticket size on Floyd Mayweather Jr. was almost 7,000, like $6,950.
Damn, are there any other sporting events that would have this big of a discrepancy in bet sizes that you can think of?
No, not. It has to be. You have to have the perfect formula because you have to have that huge favorite and you have to have a popular underdog. So here we have an ultra popular underdog and a pretty significant favorite who the sharps are actually willing to lay because they feel like they're getting such a discount. Normally, when someone becomes too big of a favorite, both the sharps and the public don't really want to mess with it. Um, this is just the perfect storm of a significant favorite where the sharps still feel like they're getting an unbelievable value and a really popular underdog that a lot of people want to win the fight and are willing to put their money down that he might do it.
And Matt, what percent of the total handle do you think has been bet already, and what percent is yet to come as far as how much is going to be bet on this fight?
I'd say sitting here at 2:30 p.m. on Thursday that we're about 50-50.
So 50% of the bets are still yet to come. That's what you mean by that?
That's what I think. Yeah. And we've done about 5 million now. We thought we'd do about 10. So the fact that we're at 5 and considering the rate in which we're taking tickets, the average size of those bets, I still feel pretty confident we'll probably get to around 10, which puts us at about 50. It's possible maybe we do 12 or 15, in which case we're only at 40% right now, but I'd say we're getting pretty close to that 50%, at least 40% of the money having come in at this point.
And by the time the bell rings, do you think this will be the most bet fight in history?
Oh, by far. It'll be the most bet fight in history by tomorrow. We won't even have to wait till fight night to break all the records. Nevada will have broken every single record we've ever seen for any combat sports by tomorrow afternoon. By the time it gets into Saturday, what people are going to be talking about is this thing going to start approaching those Super Bowl or even March Madness size numbers?
Really? So this could be rivaling the Super Bowl. That's crazy. Where do you think this line ends up? I believe you're at what, minus 500, minus 550 right now. Do you think?
We are right this second. Um, we are back to 575.
Okay, so
And
some.
at this point, it has to feel like this thing is truly finally bottomed out. And I think we've said it several times where it feels like we finally hit the bottom on this thing, and then a run of McGregor money or happens or something happens, and we see these lines start to drop. But pretty much across the board, if you look 2 days ago, you saw plenty of 450s, 470s. You don't see as many of those anymore. Just the Vegas numbers, real quick. I mean, it's 575, 550, $5, 575, 600, 540, 550, 575, 650 even at one shop down on the strip here. So, those ideas of the 470s, 480s, 490s that we saw as frequently as about 24 to 36 hours ago, those seem to be rapidly disappearing. And we're the highest we've been now in over 2 weeks at 575. We were even down to 475 at one point. So it feels like we've certainly seen the bottom out already, and I think it's only going one way from here.
Okay, and if you're new to betting, when Matt's saying minus 575, that means to bet on the favorite, to bet on Mayweather, you have to lay $575 to risk $575 to win just $100. That's what he means by that. And Matt, thank you for explaining all of that information on the other Vegas books as well. What about prop liabilities? I'm guessing you're more at risk towards maybe positive Conor McGregor outcomes. Is that right?
Yeah, absolutely. And look, anytime you have a big event, it's not the sharp bettors that put you in trouble, it's the general public. Similar to the Super Bowl every year, they like to bet things like first play of the game be a safety, which actually happened a couple years ago and all the books get buried. And they like to
Yeah.
bet all these obscure, really popular props. And here we go again. If Conor McGregor was to win this fight by a knockout in the first, fourth, sixth round, or win this fight by decision, they're all massive six-figure losses for the book.
Man, and what about limits? Do you guys have a limit for a fight like this on Saturday night?
No, I can't imagine anyone. I'm sure there is some number that if somebody came into the book may hesitate or say no to, but because there's so much liquidity in the pool right now in this fight, I mean, I don't know that there's any such thing as a betting limit. People always ask me about betting limits, and I say basically betting limits are based on liquidity in the event you're trying to bet. If you're trying to bet a Monday night football game between the Patriots and the Green Bay Packers, you're probably going to be able to bet a lot more than you would a MAC football game between Akron and Toledo because there's just so much liquidity there. Us as operators, we could take $1 million bet if there's $7 million of liquidity on the game, where you don't even want to take $50,000 bet on a MAC game where there might only be 80,000 total bet on the game. So in a fight where the state of Nevada is going to do 100 million of handle, operators are much more willing to take those big seven-figure bets than they would be in normal situations.
And so, Matt, for a big operation like CG Technology, I believe you have like 8 or 9 properties in Vegas, also work in the sports book there at the Atlantis and some places in Mexico, if I'm right on that. But as far as you guys do take a lot of bets, so have liquidity. How would that work with somebody walking in literally wanting to make $100,000 bet, walking into the Cosmo with $100,000? Could they just lay that on the counter and then the ticket counter would just take that and give them a receipt? Or would you have to get approval from the higher ups?
So no, there's not an approval from the higher up process. So what we do here is any bet over $10,000, we normally ask people to open up accounts. I suppose there could be some exceptions on a big fight weekend like this, but normally our standard policy is if you're going to bet more than $10,000, we tend to put you on an account. And account betting is no different than over-the-counter betting here, except you can bet on your mobile telephone. I mean, people have this misconception about account betting, but simply you download the app, take 5 minutes, sign up on, fill out a piece of paper, and then you're able to bet from the convenience of your mobile phone within the confines of the state of Nevada throughout your entire trip. And if you bet one, you'd have to go cash a paper ticket anyway. Here, you just go get the money out of your account, just as simple. So we always try to recommend to everyone, take the 5 minutes, download the app, and bet on the convenience of your mobile phone. Because then as things happen, you can bet in-game wagering, and nobody wants to stand in hour-long lines anymore when you can just log into your phone.
Yeah, absolutely. No, thanks for explaining that because I know a lot of people don't exactly know how that works with the bigger money. And also an interesting aspect on Saturday, we talked about it when you were down here for the IFBC, is college football has kind of a soft opening with, I believe, 4 boarded games on Saturday. What kind of added handle are you all expecting on those 4 games before the fight on Saturday night?
Yeah, it's amazing. You know, when we talk about things, you know, what are the added benefits of having this fight here in Nevada? One of the massive benefits is there's also 4 college football week 1 games this Saturday. And to be honest, these weren't, you know, nobody even considers this week 1. Officially it is. It's the first week where there's actual regular season college football games, but everybody thinks of that September 2 weekend as the official, you know, kind of week 1 opening. You have Alabama, Florida State, and LSU, BYU, Michigan, Florida, all these great games. But all of a sudden, these 4 games become really critical because the same guys that are going to be watching the fight that night are going to be betting on college football that morning. And suddenly these games where we went, it's kind of an irrelevant college football weekend, 4 games, you know, they're on TV, they start at 11:30 our time. Suddenly the handle can get really big when you have that much foot traffic in your sports books, and it'll be a really interesting college football weekend. You know, one of them is the Hawaii UMass game. Because the spreads on most of these games are so high this first week, you know, anytime you have a pick'em game, it's going to generate a lot of betting handle, and that's what we've seen in this game. I've heard a lot of sharp bettors make a case for Hawaii. There's been plenty of action. We've actually taken a lot of sharp money on UMass as well. And suddenly a game, UMass hosting Hawaii, where you would expect to maybe do 70, 80. I can't even imagine 100K of action. You know, we could do 700, 800, 900K of action on a game that we otherwise wouldn't do 100 on, just because all the added foot traffic in town this week, already looking to wager on something else, already in the sports book, already betting, and college football games are on TV, and everyone loves college football.
No, I love it, Matt. The knowledge, man, breaking down the Hawaii UMass betting angle. Hey, last question for you. I know you're busy there at CG Technology. You mentioned that the high minus 400s for betting on Mayweather may be in the past. So do you think the low buying point for Mayweather already passed, even though a bunch of Irish are coming in and there might be a flood of Conor McGregor money?
I do, and I don't want to underestimate the McGregor fans. I hate to just say the Irish are coming, but we've heard the Irish are coming story before. We were here for, you know, McGregor versus Mendez, McGregor versus Nate Diaz too, McGregor versus Jose Aldo, and we heard all this, hey, the Irish are coming, the Irish are coming. And while we tend to get huge Irish contingencies coming here to watch Conor McGregor fight, they don't necessarily gravitate toward the betting window in droves, maybe for a lot of reasons. You know, they're coming here from a really mature betting market. So if they want to bet the fight, it's been available to wager where they live for 2.5 months. Many of them have already bet the fight with their local operator there in England, Ireland, which again, a very mature betting market, before they even leave to come over here to Las Vegas. Then it's an expensive trip over here. Flights, hotels, all of that just to make the trip as a fan is very expensive. So while they tend to go out and drink a lot and party and make a lot of noise and really enhance the atmosphere, they're not bringing millions of dollars over just to wager it, because they're already, you know, in England and in Ireland, it's already a mature betting market. They don't have to come here to bet. So it doesn't actually have the betting impact that some people might think.
Okay, yeah, we got that, Matt. And hey, we really appreciate you taking the time. Obviously, know your stuff, Matt. And if you want to follow him on Twitter, at Matthew Holt VP, he's a vice president at CG Technology. Matt, we really appreciate you taking the time, and we'll talk soon.
Thanks, Drew. Have a great day. Enjoy the fights this weekend. Good luck. Take care.
All right, you as well, bud.
Hey guys, thanks for tuning in to our channel. Now, we've put a lot of work into producing all these free videos, so please help us out and keep all our content free for you forever by simply liking, sharing, commenting, and subscribing. Now, not to mention, a visit to our industry-leading website will warm the hearts of all our SBR employees, especially myself. Now, the links are over there to the left, so do check those out. Thanks for watching.